Hi, everyone. We have a very awesome.
They didn't need the school, and that was roughly 8 years, almost 9 years ago.
My specialty is working with infectious diseases like HIV from the past.
Millben.
This is M.O.G.U.L, Modern Outlook Going Upper Levels, spotlighting our community and our youth. Be on the show. Connect with us at 419-245-4979. That's 419-245-4979. Or email londondoors@gmail.com. If you'd like to get that project called Solo to help support us, all you have to do is Cash App us again at IWASH80. That's IWASH80. And when you Cash App us, also leave your email so we can send you the project. Sonny's Hamburgers, located at 20001 Schoolcraft in Detroit. Food truck now open. We have radio time and commercial spots available right here at LICMC for unbeatable prices. To get your spot today, give us a call at 419-245-4979. That's 419-245-4979. Get your spot today, right here on LICMC Radio.
London D. Washington Community Enterprise. TV, radio, film, production, broadcasting. You may call 800-875-0674. You may also contact us at our email, londondoris@gmail.com. LONDENDORIS@gmail.com. You also can check our website at ldwcenterprise.weebly.com. That's ldwcenterprise.weebly.com. London D. Washington Community Enterprise, at your service.
Join London Washington on Facebook Live for drama from the ADI Actors Club. That's Wednesdays at 2 p.m. and running here at the same time, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. right here on LICMC Radio. If you'd like to get that project called Solo to help support us, all you have to do is Cash App us again at IWASH80. That's IWASH80. And when you Cash App us, also leave your email so we can send you the project. Sonny's Hamburgers, located at 20001 Schoolcraft in Detroit. Food truck now open.
Hi, everyone. We have two awesome guests today. And this is London here, M.O.G.U.L TV, and all the other programs and affiliates that we work with. We are so excited today because, first of all, for introducing us to this awesome gentleman, Lieutenant Colonel Lawrence A. Millben. And so I want to say hi to both of you. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, that's Michelle you're looking at. And then Lieutenant Colonel Lawrence, she sent me a nice biography of you. So I'd like to introduce you to the people, and I'd like to read this information. And that way they'll kind of know what we're getting into. Then the rest we can just talk. Okay, Lieutenant Colonel Lawrence A. Millben. Lieutenant Colonel Lawrence A. Millben was the support group commander, 127th Wing Selfridge Air National Guard Base, Michigan from 1990 to 1996. Selfridge is the largest and the most complex Air National Guard base in the country. Lieutenant Colonel Millben was born in Detroit, Michigan on the 17th of September 1936. In 1952, at the age of 16, he received the Exceptional Service Ribbon, the second highest award given by the Civil Air Patrol for life-saving at the scene of an aircraft crash. He was the first Afro-American to graduate from Aeromechanics High School, one of 4 schools in the country that specializes in aircraft maintenance. He was the first Afro-American to enlist in the Michigan Air National Guard. In 1955, he completed basic training. I'm going to stop here so we can give you some talk about, because I can read. This is beautiful. So I wanted to give them a brief introduction of you, and I wanted to say hi to you. Real quick, Miss Michelle, tell us who you are, and we're so happy that you brought this wonderful gentleman, Lieutenant Colonel Lawrence. Can you set this up some more, Miss Michelle?
Yes, my name is Michelle George. I am a registered nurse, advanced practice, and my master's is in community health. So in nursing, one of the things I love about nursing, I do a lot of political policy, even though I worked with, my specialty is working with infectious diseases like HIV from the past. So, but also as a nurse, I do believe in social justice. And so I met Lieutenant Colonel Millben at one of our National Action Networks, because I'm a member of the National Action Network. And there was some social justice issues dealing with Detroit with a Davis Aerospace Aviation School. So I met Lieutenant Colonel Millben trying to fight the good fight to make sure that school was not dismantled.
Wow, awesome. And so now we're going to introduce you once again. We want to hear from this awesome gentleman. I'm going to introduce him again, Miss George, so he can start talking to us.
Okay.
Lieutenant Colonel
And
Lawrence A. Millben. Okay, now we're going to start again so we can start from the beginning. We're going to ask Lieutenant Colonel Lawrence Melvin, would he please start from the beginning?
sure. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Lawrence Millben. I joined the Michigan Air National Guard back in 1957, 55, something like 50, 55, 54. Been a year or two ago. And I graduated from Aeromechanics High School, one of 4 schools in the country that specialized in aircraft maintenance. And I also, when I was 16, helped save a passenger's life in an airplane crash across the street from the school. School was located on an active airport, Detroit City Airport. So we were right in the middle of all kinds of air activity. For that life-saving event, I received the Exceptional Service Medal. And that's the second highest medal you can get in the Civil Air Patrol. See, what else did I do? I worked for Burroughs Corporation that designed computers, and I have 2 computer patents, United States patents. I was an avionics officer. I was actually enlisted for 19 years and an officer for 23. Gives me a total of 42 years in the military. I tried to collect 2 pensions, one for the 19 years as an enlisted man and the 23 years as an officer, and they wouldn't do it. I don't know why. But they said only one pension. So then they made me choose. And obviously I chose the officer pension.
Okay.
We had some of the best airplanes in the military. We went to a meet they called M.O.G.U.L. We won best maintenance 2 times in a row. And that's kind of the Super Bowl of fighter aircraft. I joined the Tuskege Airman, and I've been a Tuskege Airman for 40 years. And I also have met 3 of the 3 generals to come out of Tuskegee. There were only 3 generals to come out of Tuskegee. General Davis, who was the first commander of the Tuskegee Airmen. General Chappie James, who was the first Black 4-star general. And I used to work for him in Air Defense Command. And General Theus, who I knew for probably 35 years. And he lived in Detroit, and so we were very good friends. So that's a significant event, I think, in my life. When I was at the school trying to graduate, I had an instructor called, his name was Nicholas Berta, who told me that he was going to make it difficult for me because I was Black. Wow. And I was the only Black in the school. And he said he was going to make it difficult because that's the way it was going to be when I graduated. And at 16 years old, I said, bring it on, which he did. And nothing I did was right. And all my other buddies, the white guys, they could do things that were junk, and that would be okay, but I couldn't. So after a couple of years of that, I said, I don't really need this stuff. So I'm going to quit. And by the way, at that time, aeromechanics was all boys, uh, which means no girls, uh, all white except for me. They had an 11-month school year instead of a 10-month. Everybody got out in June. We got out in July. And they had no sports. So two of the primary things that I was interested in was the sports and the girls, which we had neither of. So, and I had this guy just harassing me all the time, and I said I was going to quit. I read an article in Reader's Digest about the Tuskege Airmen and about General Davis and the fact that he graduated from West Point, and they gave him the silent treatment for the entire 4 years he was there. That means the only verbal communications he could have was he could ask a question, he could answer a question. That was it. Nobody would talk to him.
Wow.
And I said, if he could do that for 4 years, I could certainly get through aeromechanics. Looking back on it, I find that this instructor, Nicholas Berta, who later became the principal, who was giving me this hard time, was teaching me. And what he was teaching me was good enough isn't good enough. In order for me to succeed, you have to be better than good enough. Took me a long time to realize that, but I did eventually. Back to the military, I rose through the ranks to technical sergeant, which is an NCO, non-commissioned officer. Then I got a commission and went up to lieutenant colonel. I was an avionics officer during the time when 90% of the air defense in the country was given by Air National Guard units. So we stood 24-hour alert, which means that we could put aircraft in the air armed to intercept hostile aircraft within 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes. And we were tested on that regularly. Then I became an aircraft maintenance officer. And that means that I had roughly 200 people. As an avionics officer, I had 65. As aircraft maintenance officer, I had roughly 200. Then I became the aircraft maintenance squadron commander, which boosted that up to about 460. And then I became the aircraft maintenance group commander, which took me up to almost 500. And then I became the base commander, the first time in the history of Selfridge Air National Guard Base or Air Force Base that a black was the commander of the base. And then I had roughly, including families and that kind of stuff, roughly 5,000 people. So Mr. Berta did well in teaching me. I also was instrumental in bringing and updating Davis Aerospace High School, which used to be aeromechanics. The Tuskege Airmen got in, changed the name from aeromechanics to Davis Aerospace Technical High School. Another Tuskege Airman, Walter Downs, and I did a study, and we were tasked to do that by Judge Damasio, who was assigned to integrating the school system. And we were tasked with ensuring that the school would be viable for the next 20 years. In the process of doing that, we added in flight training and, instruments and avionics to go along with the airframe and power plant. So the whole idea there was to make it kind of a one-stop shopping for aviation. You go to this school and we had all of the key things for aviation. That worked out well up until the time that Detroit City and the Board of Education came under emergency management. They at that point decided that they didn't need the school. And that was roughly 8 years, almost 9 years ago. And we've been in this fight since then. The day they decided they were going to move the school from the airport to a school noted for its cooking. I don't know how they merged the two, although someone did say that maybe they were thinking about bringing back in-flight meals for the airlines. We have been fighting to bring the school back to the airport. It appears as though we may be successful in that endeavor, but it took 8 years. And we're working extremely hard now to make sure that the schools get back and the curriculum becomes relevant, because they've watered it down to the point where we lost our FAA certification, which means that our students cannot graduate with FAA certificates for aircraft maintenance or FCC, Federal Communications Commission, certification for avionics. We're trying to get both of them back. And hopefully we'll be successful. I'm trying to kill this thing here now. Yeah, there it is. So we're working diligently toward that end. We have suggested a course of action that the school board is looking at. We haven't got any definitive answers back at that yet, but we're still working on it. And I've been using the expertise that I have as a graduate of Davis, and we have a coalition now of roughly 75 people. The 75 include 2 Black 2-star generals, numerous colonels, all in aviation and avionics and aircraft maintenance, and multiple graduates of those same folks. So we're in the process of letting folks know that we are here. We are working diligently on bringing the school back. We have the expertise on the technical advisory committee to ensure that that occurs. So I think I probably said more than you wanted, so I'll try and answer your questions.
No, I think it's awesome. And first of all, I want to thank you for your service to our country. Thank you so much, sir. And I also want to thank Miss Michelle George for her services too. The two of you have gotten together, working together, and so it sounds like that we're on our way. We're talking about. Are we talking about the Detroit City Airport on the counter?
Yes, that's correct. Actually, the name has been changed to, it used to be Detroit City Airport. It is now the Coleman A. Young International Airport. And for those of you who don't know, Coleman A. Young was the first Black mayor of the city of Detroit. That's number one. And number two, he was an original Tuskege Airman. So he was not a pilot, but he was an original Tuskege Airman. So it's interesting that we have the airport named after an original Tuskege Airman and the first Black mayor of Detroit, and the school named after the first Black general in the Air Force, an original Tuskege Airman.
Yeah.
So and I am a Tuskege Airman. I'm the Detroit chapter historian. And we have in our chapter, we have 3 original Tuskege Airmen, Lieutenant Colonel Jefferson, Alexander Jefferson, and Lieutenant Colonel Harry Stewart, and the name's right on the tip of my tongue. Got a senior moment here. Any case, Lieutenant, no, in any case, 2:00 tonight, I'll remember this. However, there are only 12 living Tuskege Airmen left
Wow.
that were pilots. We have
Yes,
3 of them. So
that's
that's,
awesome. That's awesome. This is my goodness, such great, rich living legends, historical for people that need to know this. So I'm glad that you've given me the opportunity to do this Zoom. I would just want to Miss Michelle. I'm telling you, Miss Michelle is that lady. She's out there in touch with some great people such as yourself. And I'd like to bring Miss Michelle in to make some comments too. I am personally very proud to hear this and know this, and I think I would like to speak. Some people in the public may not even know this, and this is why getting this more information out so the public to know, people that don't know will know what's going on, how important it is, how historical this is, that you have made history, and we have something very proud to be of you, and the rest of the gentlemen are there, and also for the project that you're working on here, just to bring the education back to the youth so they'll have an opportunity uh, to live some great lives and to make history such as yourself, to learn from somebody just as great as yourself. So we want to go to Miss Michelle. Miss Michelle, what input would you like to put in right now?
Well, listening to Lieutenant Colonel Millben, like he stated, when he was dealing with that racism, it kind of give us, they're the role models. We stand on their shoulders. And also, if there are any young African Americans, I was telling my nephew will be 17 soon. He wants to go into aviation. So I was telling him about Lieutenant Colonel Millben. He wants to go to, I think, a HBCU. He's on the honors roll, and everything. So I was telling him that he has some great African Americans that he can follow. Because when you look at, there are not a lot of African American pilots. I don't know the percentage. Lieutenant Colonel Millben, what's the percentage of African American pilots? Is it still
oh,
1%?
that's very interesting that you asked that question. Back in the 90s, we did a study on the percentage of African American pilots in the military. And normally I ask the question, but I'm not going to ask the question this particular instance. The question normally is, what's the percentage of Black pilots in the Air Force?
Oh, okay.
It is less than 2%, 1.8%.
Wow.
What is it in the Navy? It's 2%. The Army has 5%. But the idea is that it's been that way for 30 years. How can you have a percentage that low consistently for 30 years? General Brown, who is now the Chief of Staff of the Air Force, came up with the same thing, except I've been saying it since the 1990s. He's coming up with it now and saying, how can it be that the numbers never change? It's by design.
Yes.
Now, they will tell you, we can't find qualified people. We can't do a whole bunch of things. But the bottom line is, if they wanted to improve it, they would. We fight the same fight at Davis Aerospace. I think we're in the process of losing the school because they didn't think that we could do the job. Now, back in 1925, Army War College wrote a a paper on the black in the military. Amongst other things, they said we were incapable of understanding complex mechanical equipment. We were afraid of the dark. We felt subservient to the white officers and were followers, not leaders. Our brain cavity was smaller, etc. So now, if we continue on with the problem that we're having at Davis Aerospace, trying to get blacks back into aviation, in 4 years, it will be 100 years since the 1925 Army War College paper, and we still are fighting the same battle, trying to get blacks into aviation. We thought we did this with the Tuskege Airmen, but obviously we didn't. So the numbers in the military are the same. The numbers are the same on the civilian side. How many times have you walked out to your airplane to take an airplane ride or flight and you saw a black pilot? Not very many times.
I haven't.
Okay. You'll see flight attendants. You'll see ticket agents. You'll see all kinds of folks, but you won't see the pilots. That has to change.
This has to change. So this is what we're working on now. This is what you're working on now. My goodness, the idea of that's appalling. And just I'm just trying to see my own personal thought is, how does somebody get that much control? They have that much control all those years with these false statements that just don't make any sense. And they actually officially accepted this kind of information. In other words, to refuse African American people a position, which is none of it's true. So,
however, if you're looking at how things are going right now, it should not surprise you, because if we're not careful, we won't even be able to vote, let alone fly an airplane.
So your suggestion is, you, Miss Michelle, what can we do as a people? Can we join you some kind of way? Can the public come in and join you or anything where we can have more power, more voice? What can we do?
One of the things in the city of Detroit, like Lieutenant Colonel Millben, we had an emergency management system when the bankruptcy, the false bankruptcy came in, and it was an emergency manager from the former Governor Snyder, and these entities, they used black emergency managers. And one of the schools they were trying to dismantle was Davis Aerospace. There was another school, Oakman, schools where nurses were taking care of children with physical challenges. So it was a racist system. I called it apartheid. If you remember, you saw my a video. I called it apartheid city, and that was one of the videos where I talked about. So I think how we can join in first. If you're in the city of Detroit and you have any young people that want to go into aviation, we want to fill up the schools in terms of contacting Lieutenant Colonel Millben. Also, we have a charter commission in Detroit that's going to be on the ballot. It has a lot to do with voting, because we have people in place that was left from the bankruptcy, even black people that are participating in keeping our vote suppressed. So we want to make news. That was one of the reasons I did the video, to make news that Detroit is still an apartheid city. Right now, we have a financial review commission over the city. We can't control our own finances. There's a board every month that the state of Michigan has to grant Detroit a waiver. It has a lot to do with the mayor of the city. You know, if we had a Comey Young, this would not be happening. So they took the water, they took the life. So it's about coming out and vote and making sure you know what's going on in your schools to fight the good fight. But definitely, if you have any young people in the 9th grade, 8th graders that want to go into aviation, we really want to fill up the school because I know they have a classroom at the Coleman Young City Airport. I was able to participate. And then London, a few years ago, Lieutenant Colonel, I don't know what year that was, they had an open house. And London met young African American males, 17 years old, with a 3.7, a 4.0 that could fly a plane.
Mm.
And
Wow.
and the Davis Aerospace, they lost their airframe, right, Lieutenant Colonel?
Yes,
It was an airframe,
yes.
and a lot of those young people, airframe certificate, where they could go to work for NASA at the time. So we have to get the certification back in. So that's where we go before our school board. I remember going to Washington, D.C. I was at a National Action Network policy. I was in the Senate building, and NASA was there displaying, things that's going on with NASA. And I was amazed. They gave me their card. I gave it to the people, powers that be. They did nothing with it. So we have to make sure our role, and even as a nurse, not just even taking care of the physical part of a patient, but also taking care of the mental health. That's why I did those 2 videos, racism and your health. This is
Mm-hmm.
a moral battle that we're fighting. I spoke to Dr. John Carlos. You know, he won the 1968 Olympics. Spoke to him the other day about, what was going on, and he saw the video. So he said, Miss George, we in a moral war. It's a moral war that we're in with this racism. So, like Lieutenant Colonel said, we saw what he went through, what he's still going through now. But the thing is to keep this school alive and getting the information out where activists can call the school board president and the Detroit president, say, let's get this school going.
And
Wow.
there's another couple of things that go along with that.
Mm-hmm.
One, excel. Good enough isn't good enough.
Yes.
Two, don't fall for the okey doke. In other words, they'll come out with all these wonderful plans that are mediocre. I use the term, we will fight and claw our way up to straw boss or mediocrity. And we shouldn't be doing that. We should be clawing our way up to the very top.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens is they come up with these wonderful plans and they may address one problem, but in the grand scheme of things, they are designed to fail. And we have to recognize if it isn't going to work, if it isn't going to function the way it should, don't buy it. We want to compromise all the time, and I don't have a problem with compromise, but I have a problem with the structural integrity of a program designed to fail. And our kids cannot compete. And the schools are designed to ensure that they cannot compete. And then when we go out to get a job and we don't get it, and they say, oh, gee, black kids can't cut it. It's not that we can't cut it. We haven't been trained. It's not that we can't learn. It's that we're not exposed.
Right.
And that's where we have to ensure that we as the adults make sure that our kids have a fighting chance. And you beat them with your brain. And that's the one thing that people don't expect you to use. That's the one thing we must use. Excellence is the name of the game.
Excellent is the name of the game. Wow. Um, something that you said, Miss Michelle, that is in the back, is right in the really front of our face. When you said that some of the people that are not supporting this are some of the African Americans, and I just can't understand that viewpoint of why they would, stop something or not support something that's going to help our children. And after all that we've been through as a people, our ancestors all up to this present time, you know what I'm saying? Why? What is the purpose of that? I don't understand. I would like to talk to people like that just to find out what is your reasoning? Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. And they are on that river in Egypt, denial. I mean, because they are not paying attention. And I have talked to some people and they can't hear it. They don't see it. My mother used to say, none are so blind as those who will not see, and they're not going to see it. I don't know what they see, and the logic that they espouse is illogical, but we try. In everything that you do, there are successes and failures. And for those people that will not see, uh, they're just casualties of what's going on, and we have to move beyond them.
And move beyond that. If there is anything that I can do in the media, just let me know. Look, I'm sitting here thinking about what you're talking about. You want to get the word out. It would be nice to have some type of PSA or something that we can put together. We have 13 shows. I have 9 that run here in the city of Detroit, where
Oh,
they run on the
wow.
weekend. We can have, I can just see PSAs going on the radio, and then we can constantly, Facebook is a big thing. Every time we do something with Facebook, can go live on the radio and all this kind of thing. I think that I'm happy to work with this situation. Anything that we can do media wise to constantly keep putting the word out. Like you said, we have to. Those that don't want to be, those are the people that fall by the wayside. I guess that's what you would say. And the ones that want to, we can get together and push this thing. And I was thinking while we were talking, Miss George, about recruiting young people to get involved into, so they can. If you're saying they can go ahead and sign up now.
How would they start that, Lieutenant Colonel, for young people who want to go into aviation?
Yeah, we'll take anybody that wants to come into aviation, and
What's the age range?
and let me mention one other thing. The aviation industry pays exceptionally good money. So if a student graduates from, let's say, Davis Aerospace, that used to be, and he has his airframe and power plant license, within a year or two, he'll be making $80,000 a year.
Wow.
That's before he's 20.
Before he's 20. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So the question is, with the age, what are the we can get together and keep talking about this. And again, when we're not on Zoom, we find out, but we can still do it now. The age range that you would accept to be a part of
We for Davis Aerospace, we go from the 9th grade to the 12th grade. Now, there are caveats with that. We want to start them in the 9th grade because the FAA has time frames for their work. In other words, you have to graduate, pardon me, you have to possess X number of hours to become an aircraft mechanic. I'll give you an example. We also have flying at Davis Aerospace. We have 4 aircraft that we can fly. The students can fly. We can make a pilot in 100 hours of instruction usually, a lot less normally. But in order to make an aircraft mechanic, it takes 1,500 hours of instruction. So if you go in the 12th grade to be an aircraft mechanic, there's no way that you can get 1,500 hours. Okay. So we start them out in the 9th grade and we walk them through to the 12th grade, and they have the opportunity. Even if they don't get their airframe or power plant license, one of the things that they do end up with is the technical skill set to go almost anywhere and be relevant. And that's the whole idea. We give them the technical skills so that they can go out and compete fairly for almost any job in science. They will know electrical systems, electronic systems, hydraulics, sheet metal structures, all kinds of stuff that they will know. Instrumentation. So when they walk out of there, they have a skill set. When the regular person from a regular high school walks out, they usually have a diploma, period. And one of the things that I vigorously fight is we pride ourselves in teaching our kids and having them go through AP calculus. Now, and the question I always have is, when do they use it? I've been in research and development. I worked at Burroughs Corporation for 19 years. When I retired from the Air Force, I went to work for Eaton Corporation's research and development group. And it is rare that I use calculus. When I was in the military as an avionics officer or a squadron commander for aircraft maintenance, you never use it. So why are we teaching them this wonderful thing? And I got nothing against calculus, but again, why don't we give them something they can use? Like how to balance their checkbook, how many square feet of carpeting they're going to have in their living room, whether when they buy their new car, what the interest rate is going to be, or when they buy their house, what the compound interest rate is going to be, so that they can actually understand what they're doing with money or with numbers. But they get AP calculus that they can never use, and the stuff that they can use, we don't give to them.
Yes. Wow. Well, I'm telling you, this is breathtaking information.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm so glad that I have an opportunity to talk with you, Lieutenant Colonel. I'm just ecstatic about what I think that I can put into this to bring other people into this conversation and putting this information out and trying to draw other people in. So how do we get people? Do you need people just to support what you're doing? Is that something that can be done?
Well, right now we're working with the Board of Education to try and ensure that the school, one, comes back to the airport, and it appears as though they may be doing that. And I say appears because it's not in concrete yet. As one of our guys used to say, I don't believe nothing until there's shovel in the dirt, so that they're building something. So
Right.
we're hoping that that's going to take place, and awareness is the big thing, and the idea that the old military saying, lead, follow, or get the heck out of the way. Some people don't lead, they don't follow, and they don't get out of the way. So we have to kind of push them in the direction we want them to go. And the more people we have supporting us, the better off we are.
Yeah.
The more diverse our fields. And we specifically picked Davis Aerospace Technical Advisory Committee because the educators on many times will say, well, you guys don't know what you're talking about. We're the educators. We have all the knowledge. Well, not necessarily so. On the technical side, that's why we picked the term technical. We have the knowledge. We have hundreds of years of experience behind the people that are on our committee, hundreds of years. And that's hard to refute, although they keep trying to say, oh yeah, we go over to the other side of the state, we got schools that do this or that or the other. Yeah, but they came over here to get what they do over there. So we're just trying to, one, beat them with the brain and excel. Those are two things that we have. One other thing I must mention, and that is we have all these people on a committee. Nobody receives a penny for the work that they do. And that's the other thing they say they like to throw at you. Well, you're getting paid to say this or do this. No, we're not. We're doing it because of one thing that's on our agenda every week. and that is kids come first. If
Mhm.
you're not putting the kids first, then we don't need you.
Wow. This is really beautiful. I she sent me Miss Michelle sent me this clip. Fox 2 Detroit says that I can watch it live, and I'll probably um be able to insert it into our conversation once all this is edited. It says Davis Aerospace Technical High School returning to Detroit Airport after 5 years. This is in 2019. So that means we're just about getting ready to get that point where the school should reopen, right?
Right. Hmm.
Okay. Well, Miss, this has been a great pleasure. Um, very eye opening, and I want to see if I can get Miss George to say anything else. I see the link between the two of you. I mean, God bless both of you so much for the hard work that you put in, working in this community, looking out for our youth, because those are the ones
Right,
that
right,
need to
right.
move forward. Um, Miss Michelle, I see how you link together uh, with the lieutenant colonel because you talk about the systemic racism and all the things that we go through, and you being a nurse, you talk about our mental health. It's the physical health, it's the mental health, it's just so much that goes into this. Um, and I really want to even talk about that more so people can understand from all the things that even our forefathers and our parents and that we go through. All that weight has been put on us, and yes, what do you expect of somebody to be emotionally distraught, um, unhealthy, because of the stress, because of all the things that goes on. It's almost like handed down from generation to generation. We keep living through this. And like I said, we're strong people. We're still something that Lieutenant said we shouldn't have to do this. It's something that we should not have to do. And so, and I wanted to say that I appreciate you so much for
Thank you.
doing those videos and putting those videos out there with that information, uh, coming from your career as a nurse, number one. Anything you say, medically, we know, okay, we can count on that. And then, you're going beyond that. You're connecting uh, racism, the health of the African American person, why we may not be able to be strong enough to stand under certain type of situations because of our health, because of our mental situation, because of all the stress, you
Yeah.
know. Um, and it's stressful. In my mind, I remember seeing a young man that had uh was at the bus stop, and something told me African American young man, and I stopped my car for this. I think I was doing something over there in the New Center area,
Okay.
someplace beyond that, and it was on Woodward. And I looked at his face. He was just sitting there distraught, just distraught. And I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if he didn't have anywhere to go. I mean, he didn't look like he was, he didn't look like a bum. Even though somebody does, you don't know. But he just looked like a
Right.
young man that was distraught. It was so much so it was just it was a let's say oozing out all over him. He was just sitting at the bus stop, and the Lord told me to give him. Uh, I think I might have given him about $50, and he just almost fell out.
Wow, I'm
And I don't
sure.
know if he just I don't know if he had just gotten out of prison, or I don't know what it was. He was in a bad predicament trying to figure out what to do. And so to watch a man sit there and toil in his mind as to, and this is not the first time I've seen it. So what am I gonna do? I'm a I'm a man. I'm a father. You know, I'm a husband, and I am trying to figure out how am I going to provide fully for my family. How am I going to pay the bills? How am I going to walk in the footsteps of what I am as a man? And then
Right,
just to watch a man sit there and struggle with that.
right,
That's
right.
a lot on the mind.
Yeah,
That causes mental issues. That causes frustration. That breaks down your morality. That breaks down your heart. Whatever is in you, your makeup of you.
that spirit.
It
Yes,
breaks down. And like the lieutenant said, it's by design.
yes.
I learned some things in sociology myself. I had a sociologist that was he was Caucasian, by the way, but he was very truthful. And by the time we went through that class, from the government all the way down, things are just set up for things. Why are the black people positioned and living in this direction? Why
Yes.
is this called the ghetto where you don't have to be able to get what you're supposed to get?
Yes.
What?
Yep.
It's because it's the setup, and it's like that in every city, every state, all over the United States, all over the United States. Everywhere you go, in
Yep.
every city you're gonna see, and it could be a block over where you see the real downside of people that are uh, not getting what their needs met, and feeling like they just can't make it. You
Yes.
know,
Mhm.
and it's just some people feel that that are blocked in, boxed in to this position in their mind. I cannot do any better. I don't see a way.
Yeah.
So these kind of things, what you're doing here, it opens up the mind. Um, it's important. And so God bless you so much
Thank you.
for. Oh, you definitely are doing the work of the Lord in so many different ways. God bless you so much, Lieutenant Colonel
Thank you.
Melvin. I'm telling you, this is I can just keep putting it out. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with putting this out and helping. That would be my way. Just let people know. I even feel like I would like to put that PSA out or something out on a
Right.
regular basis. I'll put it in newspapers. I don't care, and that'll be my donation. Um, to let people know that get your child signed up at the ninth grade for some real nice commercial. Maybe we can flash your face on there. I don't know. Uh, uh, they will be excited to see you with that picture behind you.
Yes.
Tuskege Airman, and just let them know, hey, you have a chance to make it in life. Come to be a part of this and learn at the Davis Aerospace Technical High School. 9 years old, come wherever you are, come on now. Without any, anything that you have to go through, like jump through hoops. Some people think I can't do it, so I don't know. I want to help sign them up. I don't know either. But if you start putting the information out, um, and I'm willing, with permission from you, put information out. I do a lot of advertising. I put a number up, say, hey, if you want, you got to give me numbers or whatever. If you want to do this, call this number. If you want to be a part of this, call. Whatever you want, and then keep pushing. This is a good time to do this too.
Yes, it is.
Children will be going back to school. It's out now, but it won't be long before they're going back. With all the pandemic and everything that everybody's going through, this will be the brightest light to see uh, something so awesome that these young people have something to look forward to. And
That's
with
right.
them having something to look forward to, we all have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to break this down. And I see the hard work and the grind that you all are putting into. So I'm here. I'm ready. I'm ready. So we can talk later and figure out how we're going to do it. But I'm just offering that right now that I would love to be promoted. Get the word out. Get the children. I almost feel like you want to do some type of drive and get the young folks to come and sign up. I don't know. But
Okay. Well, we'll figure it out for you. We'll help you out.
this is an emergency to me.
Yes.
It's a
Yes, it is.
wonderful, wonderful emergency. So I pray that everything comes through. Um, what the people say, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, or we just got to keep
Yes.
making a whole lot of noise. And with the
That's right.
education,
And we can't forget to vote. I mean, that I can't say that enough.
yes.
Uh, we're in the predicament we're in primarily because we assumed and didn't vote.
And
And
it's
we've
not
got to not let that pass us by.
yes. Yes.
So we need to talk about voting all year long, not when it's just time to vote. We need to talk about it all year long
All the time.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yes. Yes.
and
Yes.
explain. And in your explanation, we need to explain to people what will happen if you don't vote. What will happen if you don't vote? What could happen in, you say, 4 years from now? Would they want to take us back to where we couldn't vote? Okay.
That's right.
Yeah. So we're not. That's what we got to talk. We're gonna keep talking about it. So if you're game, I'm game. We can always get
I'm
together.
game.
Right. Yes. 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 Yes.
Well, I believe that we could probably talk for over a good hour, but this is only just tip of the iceberg. Something like this can go on forever. And I am just been my pleasure and honor to be able to have met you, uh, Lieutenant Colonel. Man, I'm telling you, God bless you. But God, and you look good. You look very good. I mean, keep
Yes.
God's
It does.
blessing
Yes.
you with good health and looking good and everything. So we
Well,
need you.
we'll keep trying.
Okay.
Thank God for that. And also, you, Miss Michelle, so anything that you all like to say before, because this sounds like 2 or 3 shows I have right here. I buy show airtime and it's like 30-minute slots. This sounds
Okay.
like three. I could show the whole thing in one and in 3 shows. So that means I guess we need to put the cap on it. So I'm gonna overlap. Um, but is there anything that you would like to say today before we get before we end this conversation? Come back again, Lieutenant and Miss George.
Well, one of the things before Colonel Millben go, that picture behind Lieutenant Colonel Millben, the mural, when you look at the Tuskege Airmen and the deepest racism and what our people have went through and our ancestors, and then now, like, he said with voting laws, we thank God we have 2 African American women in the Justice Department in the Civil Rights Division that
Mm,
say they're going to be fighting. I saw the news today. They will be going after that voter suppression. A lot of people don't realize in 2013 it was Shelby versus Holder, which was Eric Holder, that that section that was taken out of the Voting Rights Act, where states had to be accountable to the federal government. That was what the United States Supreme Court struck down in 2013. As soon as they struck that down, those states ran in and did the voter uh, suppression, voter disfranchisement for voting. Now, when you look at the voting laws in almost every state, in Michigan, you can't even, what some of the state laws where people are voting, you can't even serve them water. That should let people know how your vote counts. Your vote is power. That it was John Lewis that stated that voting is a sacred. I'm gonna paraphrase him, a sacred duty. So when people fight, they know that's power because you can't elect them. So we got to remember in Detroit, we have a charter that the Michigan Supreme Court said has to stay on the ballot. There were those forces trying to stop that. Guess what? Those were the tentacles to emergency management, the ones that tried to stop this Davis Aerospace. So
mm,
that's where we have to continue to fight. And I just tell people, your vote, you see now your vote counts.
wow. Thank you so much. I just want to tell you I love you so much. Big hug from my heart to you, Miss George. Big hug from my heart to you, Lieutenant Melbourne. God bless you. And I'm gonna see a flash of I see Miss George and oh man, I just thank God for I'm trying to remember how did I get connected through George.
And
And
I'll be
now
doing a video next week on voting rights and health. So I'll let you know when that come out.
okay, well then when we do we want to go Facebook Live with you again so we can set it up and let it play on the
Okay.
radio, okay, and on the man, you are. It takes God to put that in a person to do what you're doing. You're
Yeah.
definitely called, sent, and doing the work of God. I hope God just bless you and preserve you, woman of God. To keep on moving. You are another historical young lady that's out there putting it in, trying to make sure that people get the information, not just from health, but for your mind, for your soul. And you're talking about every area of life, including this racism that is holding up our people. So God bless you. And now we want to
Thank
have one more
you.
thing. Thank you so much. God bless you. And so now, Lieutenant, we're going to let your face be the face that closes us out. Lieutenant, is there anything else you like to say? And tell your technician we love her too. She's an awesome young lady over there booking all
Well,
this stuff.
it wouldn't have happened without her.
Yes. So we leave it in your hands before we say farewell for the moment until we meet again. We're going to ask you, is there any last words you'd like to say for today?
No, I think you pretty much hit it. You know, we cannot minimize the the importance of voting, and voting has become a big issue right now, and it's a big issue because people are scared to death that we won't. Pardon me, that we will vote. Let's not disappoint them. Let's vote.
Right.
Uh, that's critical. The other thing is, as I said, uh, we have to do things through excellence. You got to be good at what you do, and you got to get trained. You got to get exposed to things. Uh, our hope is that our kids, the ones that are coming up now, get the opportunities we didn't get. And that's very doable. The real problem that we have is our kids are not failing us. Although everybody wants to say our kids can't do it, they're not failing us. The adults are failing the kids. That's where the problem is. We have to get engaged, stay engaged, be focused on what we want to do, and get these folks off the dime, because that's what we're up against. They don't give you credit for using your brain. Use it.
Yes.
Well, you are two heroes. You're two heroes. Thank God for you. And we will let whoever's listening right now, thank you for watching what we're doing. This is M.O.G.U.L TV and our affiliates. We just talked with, and I was introduced to Lieutenant Colonel Lawrence A. Millben, pardon me, from this wonderful Miss Michelle George. So we want to thank you so much for tuning in, and we will look forward to talking to you later.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Recording. I just want to stop the recording.
And thank you for having us. I really appreciate being here.
If you'd like to get that project called Solo to help support us, all you have to do is Cash App us again at IWASH80. That's IWASH80. And when you Cash App us, also leave your email so we can send you the project. Sonny's Hamburgers, located at 20001 Schoolcraft in Detroit. Food truck now open. We have radio time and commercial spots available right here at LICMC for unbeatable prices. To get your spot today, give us a call at 419-245-4979. That's 419-245-4979. Get your spot today, right here on LICMC Radio.
London D. Washington Community Enterprise. TV, radio, film, production, broadcasting. You may call 800-875-0674. You may also contact us at our email, londendors@gmail.com. LONDENDORIS@gmail.com. You also can check our website at ldwcenterprise.weebly.com. That's ldwcenterprise.weebly.com. London D. Washington Community Enterprise, at your service.
Join London, Washington on Facebook Live for drama from the ADI Actors Club. That's Wednesdays at 2 p.m. and running here at the same time, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. right here on LICMC Radio. This is M.O.G.U.L, Modern Outlook Going Upper Levels, spotlighting our community and our youth. Be on the show. Connect with us at 419-245-4979. That's 419-245-4979. Or email londendors@gmail.com.